Welcome. Welcome, everyone, to the Radio Toons podcast. How's it going?
It's going great, man.
Is it going great?
It's going really great.
I'm Steve.
I'm Ernie.
Why is it going great, Ernie? What's up?
Well, for one, I was working at my new job. We're working the Oscars, like nominations that came out this morning.
Okay.
Best Animated Feature, Spider-Man Into the Universe, got nominated.
I don't think anybody doubted that one.
You didn't think so?
No.
It's going up against The Incredibles 2.
Wreck-It Ralph?
Wreck-It Ralph and, what is it, the Isle of Dogs. Those are the ones that were, like, kind of big.
So the Academy Awards is the whole year? Or, like... Oh, wow, okay.
The entire year.
That's crazy.
And then for animated short, I didn't recognize any of the animated short ones, except for Bao.
Well, there's that one that... I don't know how these things get picked, but there was that one about the two... it was, like, a gay kid, and he falls in love with, like, another kid or something.
What was it called?
I don't know, but it caused quite a stir-up on Twitter.
It might have been, but
like,
I didn't...
You didn't see that one?
No, I didn't see it.
It's almost like if you ever went to go see, I think it was Moana.
Moana?
Yeah, before Moana, they had a...
I didn't see it in theaters.
They had a short that was about this guy's, like, gut.
Okay.
And it was...
Oh, yeah!
Yeah.
The one, like, it was his brain, his gut, and his heart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say... I didn't watch it, but I want to say that one about the gay teenager kid was... it was like his heart was, like, pulling him in different directions or something. It was something weird like that.
Okay.
But I didn't watch it, but it was online, so I don't know if that's... I don't know anything about the Academy Awards. Do they just pull shit from the internet? Does that get Academy awarded?
No, it's usually just like things that they have that's been submitted to a couple film festivals.
Then that one probably did, honestly, because it was done really well.
Well, I mean, think about it. Bao did get released into theaters and stuff.
Yeah, and like people were also complaining because they were just like, all the headlines were like, Pixar-like cartoon gets a lot of flack for and people were just like, people were more upset that they were just like, you know, Pixar isn't the only person that does 3D. Like, do you have to say?
But they're
Pixar?
The most prominent.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I get that.
And especially like they're not trying to necessarily say, "Oh, it's the best." It's more like the thing that most people will recognize.
Sure. Yeah. No, I understand that.
The other ones, see, this is I just looked them up real quick. Animal Behavior.
Okay.
Late Afternoon.
Okay.
One Small Step and Weekends.
One Small Step. Yeah, I saw the poster for that one. It was like a child. And a dad with like cardboard helmets on. Oh, okay. And they were I guess it's about like I don't know, like an astronaut dad or some kid aspiring to be an astronaut. I don't know.
Probably. But I feel like they all have equal running because I don't really know how much the Oscar is affected by like public opinion. Mm-hmm. By the way, the last one for animated feature film is called Mirai, and it's directed by Mamoru Hosoda. So I guess that's like an anime like Howl's Moving Castle or something, which I didn't watch.
Yeah,
so,
I did hear about that one. That was in select theaters, I think. I'm not sure if it was a wide release. Mm-hmm. But I knew a couple people on Twitter who were posting about it, so that's cool.
You know what's really crazy is like all like I think two of like the best nominated films are Netflix movies.
Oh really?
It's like Roma and I think The Favorite, both on Netflix.
Roma and what else you said?
The Favorite, I believe.
Favorite? Okay.
But it's like, it's crazy how Netflix was a streaming service that just had garbage movies just a couple years ago, and now they're making like feature films that are like winning Academy Awards. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I will say in just to play devil's advocate, they're just like any other network where it's like they got a bunch of crap. They throw everything at the wall, and they're seeing what sticks.
They got the Bird Box Challenge going, guys.
Oh my god, dude! Because it's like every once in a while, you know, they get like a fucking I don't know what's a good Netflix show? What's Stranger Things, right?
Well, all of the Marvel stuff we've been seeing.
Season 1, yeah, okay, all the Marvel stuff for sure.
Yeah.
You know, minus maybe Iron Fist.
You got Stranger Things. You already said that one.
Season 1 of Stranger Things was very good.
I personally never watched it. I really didn't give it a chance, but people were all over Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, and then you go from that into like the Death Note movie or like 13 Reasons Why.
What? Well, people love that. I don't know why they love that, but they love that.
13 Reasons Why?
Yeah.
Yeah, that show apparently is like very controversial. And I don't know.
Isn't it about suicide?
Yeah, it's about suicide, and from what I heard, like the writers were actually told, like, hey, don't be using this in your show. Like, this is like, these are habits that we don't want to glorify because people will actually kill themselves or something like that. Or these are like, and they did it anyway. So there you go.
They did it anyway.
Yeah, they don't.
What about Black Mirror? Isn't that part of them too?
I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. I'm bad at this.
Well, definitely that choose your own adventure thing is definitely them.
Yeah, and that's
so like they've been bringing a lot to the table.
No, yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like they definitely have a lot to go,
So you know what their secret was? They brought in some key shows that they knew people would binge. To get their numbers up.
I mean, that's what they did with the Arrested Development, right?
Yep.
They were like,
and they made that 4th season with Arrested Development.
It was 5, yeah.
5?
But yeah, I know what you're saying. That's what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, they bring in the whole thing so you can binge it, and they're like, hey, you guys like this? You want more, huh? You guys want more of this shit?
You sound like a drug dealer. Yeah. You want more? Got a little taste? I brought you in with the Friends so you could stream all the Friends.
Yeah.
Now there's something like Friends over here. You want to check this out?
Dude,
it's a nice strat.
Yeah, I know it's random, but it's like, can you believe how much Friends, like, reignited because of Netflix? Like, dude. I know it was already popular, but, like, people watch that shit now like it's new. Like...
It's the same thing with The Office.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. But, like, I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, there was talks about The Office, like, reboots, right?
Right.
And I guarantee you it was because of Netflix. Like, the fact that that Netflix, like, totally reignited that fan base, so...
Damn.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were just like...
People are talking about that thing like it just happened.
What?
Like, people are...
Yeah, The Office, yeah.
They're still talking about it like it just happened.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix was like, how much do you guys want for the Friends reunion? Like,
oh my god.
Because you know that's what everybody's been wanting. Like,
I'm a huge Friends fan, okay?
I think we both are,
We both are. And you know what's weird? Mm-hmm. We're both Friends fans and Seinfeld fans. Mm-hmm. And apparently you have to choose a side.
Nah, I don't believe that.
No, it's completely true because people who have told me, be like, you like Friends? He's like, yeah, but you're watching Seinfeld. I was like, yeah, I kind of like both. He's like, no, because one New York is actually like real New York and this one's fake New York. I was like, what does that mean? He's like, Friends New York doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Like, it's like you're a chef and a waitress and you can afford an apartment.
Yeah, of course not.
All these nice things happen to them and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and then there's Jerry Seinfeld's New York. That's real.
First of all, Monica was able to afford the apartment because of the rent control.
Rent control.
Yeah, it was a rent controlled apartment and her grandma died. It was under her name still. They didn't know. And like they didn't know like both of them were living there or something, right? Like, all right, so debunked, all right, you fucking haters. You debunked.
You got bunked.
No, but that's interesting. I probably won't watch the Oscars. I don't really give a shit about awards. But it's cool that certain things get brought into the light. Mm-hmm. You know, like Bow, that's cool, and
Spider-Verse
stuff like that. You know, Wreck-It Ralph didn't even have an animated short before.
Really?
Yeah, I found that really.
They must have wanted a packet full of as much stuff as they could.
I don't know, man. Like I honestly, I feel like Wreck-It Ralph was. As much as it was a success, I know it was a success.
Oh, it is. It totally is.
But I feel like it was fighting an uphill battle that entire time it was in the box office. Like,
why?
Because it came out around Thanksgiving. Everything historically, Disney in the last like 4 years has bombed on Thanksgiving.
What?
Yeah, like it started with like Tomorrowland, right? That came out during Thanksgiving.
Ooh, that's a bad one.
And then The Good Dinosaur. Nobody watched The Good Dinosaur. It also came out during Thanksgiving.
Dang.
I was actually surprised.
You're racking these up, Steve.
Yeah. I'm surprised Coco did it as well as it did, actually, when it came out. Because it was like... I want to say it was like mid-November that it came out. So,
probably.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, but I want to say Finding Dory also came out around November. And that one was also like met with like...
It was a success, but it definitely did not rise to the... To be honest, Finding Nemo wasn't as huge as some of the other ones, but... I will admit that Finding Dory did not do as well as Finding Nemo.
I should look it up and get you guys some real stats. But I know for a fact those 3 movies that I just named were struggling during Thanksgiving. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like people are out of town. People don't want to watch movies during the holidays.
Maybe they just want good movies.
I don't know, yeah.
I've heard people talk about Tomorrowland, and they're just like...
I want to watch it, actually. I like Clooney.
People watched The Good Dinosaur, and they were like, it was just kind of plain.
Yeah.
And that's a real bummer because Pixar usually takes its time with its
No, I actually heard it was a good movie. It's just that
is it
because of the way or because of when it came out. You know, it's like it's unfortunate.
That's still very strange. So because Wreck-It Ralph did gangbusters.
So yeah. So that's like on top of all that, it's like it didn't have an animated short at the beginning either. And from what I heard, they had to cut a lot of jokes out of the movie.
What do you mean, like a lot of jokes?
They wanted to do certain things, and apparently Disney was like, "No, don't do that." So
you know what? Put more Star Wars in it.
No, actually, there was a joke. There was apparently a joke about Kylo Ren being emo.
And they took that out.
And they took it out. There was like Vanellope was gonna say something like, "Oh, this guy is emo" or something. You know, a little more snarky than that, obviously. But they were asked to take it out of the movie, and I was like, "Are you fucking like?"
Oh boy.
You are taking yourself a little too seriously there, okay? Like,
wow.
They're all in the same family of fucking, whatever. So
everybody's getting made fun of.
Yeah, I was just like, really? That's so weird. And anyway,
trying to protect their Star Wars.
Not to mention, like, a lot of the trailers, those scenes don't even show up in the movie.
No, I heard that.
There's like 3 scenes in particular that don't show up in the movie at all. So I was like,
is it when he feeds the thing?
Yeah.
That one I heard got cut.
Yeah, and then there was another one where he was like, shouldn't it be Ralph wrecks the internet? And she's like, breaks the internet's kind of a thing. And he's like, yeah, but wrecks the internet kind of sounds better. And she says something like...
And does she start giving him likes?
No.
That's in there?
No, yeah, that's in there. But this one, that what I just said was not in there. Yeah, anyway. So I just felt like it was like... Were they reworking the story? Or like, were there things that just got cut because like maybe people didn't like it? Or like...
It's probably one of the cases where they made like some promotional material, and that was probably in the trailer. Because some stuff.
No, yeah, I get that, but like I just didn't think like. I guess like just as an animator, I'm just like it's a lot of fucking work for it to not show up in the goddamn movie. It's like
some stuff gets cut though, man.
It's weird. Like I don't know.
Like I've seen the outtakes for Zootopia, and a lot of that stuff is actually worked pretty far ahead. And I'm like, oh man, they cut all this? Look how far they got. Like, it's not lit properly, but all the animation is there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Acting is there.
Like, because I have seen some of those Zootopia cutscenes, or deleted scenes, I should say, and some of them aren't even like they're not even fully rendered. They're like animated.
Yeah,
but they're still like they're still like the gray sculpture looking things, and with the no backgrounds, no textures, and anything. Yeah. So I'm like. These got fully animated with lighting and everything, and they didn't make it into the movie? Like, okay, whatever.
Well, a lot of them have to do with the other scenario for Zootopia.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Anyway, some other news. Resident Evil came out, Resident Evil 2. At least the reviews came out for it.
Yeah.
It's like a resounding yes for it.
Okay.
Because it's not just... A lot of the reviews I've been reading is it's not just a rework. The controls are obviously much better. You're not as... Okay, so you remember in the old one where it's like as soon as you went through the door, cutscene?
Obviously that's not going to be in there, yeah.
Yeah, well, because like I was watching the Easy Allies review, and they were like going through it, and they were saying, yeah, zombies just roam around everywhere, and they could just come through the door whenever they want. Okay. So you just like, you got to kill them. And giving a headshot doesn't necessarily kill them.
Right, yeah.
The only way to make sure that you kill them is to, like, blow their heads off. Like, the head has to be completely destroyed.
Right.
It looks fucking incredible.
It looks really good,
It looks insane.
I played the demo, actually.
What did you think? What did you think of the demo?
I don't know if you downloaded the demo. But it was, it looked really impressive. But it's not my type of game. Like...
No, definitely not.
Like, it just made me... I don't know. Like...
Anxious?
No, well, it is scary.
It's super scary.
But, like, it's kind of one of those games where, like, the first time I played the demo, it was really scary, right? And then, like, when I'm walking through that same hall and I know there's no danger, it kind of, like, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to run through this. Or, like, the jump scares are only so...
Scary.
Yeah, like, it's... I don't know how to describe it. And, like, I'm not saying that the game is bad or anything. Just for me, like, zombies and, like, horror doesn't really do it for me. Like, I'm not really a huge fan of it. Like,
I just don't know about these games where you have to, like, manage your resources. I really don't want to do that while I'm trying to run around a place. I don't know why.
It's like if you didn't like Dead Rising because you have to manage your inventory.
That's exactly what my problem was with Part 1 Dead Rising.
So if you don't like Dead Rising, then you like this game has the same kind of, I guess, problems or whatever. But I'm happy for the people that are excited for it. I mean, they seem really excited. It's like people are really, really strongly opinionated about remakes.
Well, this one in particular.
Until it's a game they actually want to play. You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Like when people when people remaster or remake games that like I guess people don't care as much about.
Right.
They're just like, oh, great, we're going to be playing this same game for 20 years, or this game came out so long ago, and they're selling it again, they're reboxing it, but I guess with Resident Evil, they're just, like, excited for it, so I don't know, whatever.
Let's repackage this thing and send it out.
Yeah, like, I have no doubt in my mind that they will do Nemesis now. Resident Evil 3, like...
You know why I think that's completely true is in the review, they talk about Nemesis, like, extensively.
Oh, really?
Like, the fact that he is... You know, in the first game, there were certain sections where he would appear.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh!
It's like a running section.
But the next times you know where he's coming from and you know how to dodge him.
Yeah.
This one is like, he follows you around the mansion.
Okay.
So at any given point, he could just jump out. So there's not as much... He's not so procedure, I guess is the way to say it. And he's wearing that coat with the hat on and everything, so he's a little more menacing because you don't see the full... Like,
it's a game where they call him Tyrant. Is that part one?
No, it's not Tyrant because like in that one, remember you're I think the first person to see
Titan
him,
or something.
Something like that.
At the end of the first game, you shoot somebody with a rocket launcher or something. I believe.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay,
that's him.
yeah.
Spoilers.
Sorry. I mean,
by the way, just a side note. I was watching some of those speedruns and somebody was playing that game, and they couldn't hit. They couldn't hit him with the rocket to take him out for the last time.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just like, I finished the game in record time, and I can't hit him with this stupid rocket. And he misses twice.
That sucks. Yeah, because I was going to say, I do remember that part. I played it on DS. Yeah. And I was like, I remember something like that, so I don't...
Yeah, some mysterious person throws you a rocket launcher, depending on which version you played, and then you shoot him, and he doesn't die, but I think he gets, like... He goes away from you.
His sleeve gets caught on the rocket as it flies away, and he goes and he flies.
And he goes down the mine shaft.
Yeah.
Down to Umbrella headquarters.
You ever seen Rush Hour 2? Has at the end where they like is that the one where they put him on the end of the rocket or something? Or
no?
What movie is?
They put him on the edge of a rocket.
No.
What are you talking about?
I think that's Shanghai Nights. I'm sorry. They shoot
oh my god!
They shoot somebody. They shoot somebody off on a firework or something. I don't remember. Anyway.
Is that Mulan?
No. Oh, yeah. It's also Mulan, huh? Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That's funny.
Real original.
Yeah, well.
They said there's a Chinese person in it? Let's kill him with fireworks, yeah? Let's do that.
That brings honor to Japan. China.
Nice one.
Anyways.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought it was okay. Check it out if you want, because it's free. I'm always free. I'm always of the mindset that it's like, it's free?
It's for me.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Like,
it's free, it's for me. That's what Steven said.
Yes, that's my catchphrase.
Also, I saw people were talking about MK11.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like...
I don't know, like...
There's a new guy. That seems to be the newest like way they try to revitalize this thing. Is like there's a new dude.
There's a new villain?
Great. Yeah, his name is Garrus. And he
Garrus?
has like, yeah.
I think he was from Mortal Kombat 10.
Was he really?
Yeah. What does he do? Let me describe him to me.
He's got like sand power, time sand powers, and he's like when he hits you with big sand hands.
Oh, then I don't know that.
He rises you up and he can like freeze you in place with sand, and then he bops you. And stuff like that. He seems like the game still feels really floaty, like it's always felt. I mean, it looks like that. I can't really say, but it looks like it has to do with time travel because the Raiden I saw in the gameplay looked like a younger Raiden. Like he was back to just his white costume with like the hat, the pointy hat.
Okay.
And then like Sub-Zero looks like your old school ninja.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's some big time travel thing.
I'll say this about Mortal Kombat: I'm not always excited for their games. But as far as like story goes, they had that over Street Fighter.
Oh, of course.
I remember their stories were always super engaging and like even though they were like cheesy at times or something, I was like, at least they did it. Street Fighter's like story is almost like non-existent at points, and like Third Strike is like like I love Third Strike, but like some of that shit like doesn't even make sense to me. Like
you didn't like Gil?
No, the main thing about Street Fighter or like the continuity of Street Fighter to me is that like Third Strike happens after Street Fighter 4, and Ibuki's supposed to be like 17 or 16, so like Street Fighter 4 happens like 3 or 4 years before or something, and I'm like, so you're telling me she's like 12? Like, I don't know about you guys, but she does not look 12.
No,
they don't look like that when they're 12. I'll tell you that much. Like, So I don't know, like
beating up 12-year-olds.
No, I know it's so weird, but I think I get it. Like Street Fighter is more about the mechanics. It's about it's like it's that first. It's a fighting game first.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, Mortal Kombat has that over it. I think it's like.
The one that I always kind of refer back to is when they did that whole thing with Shujinko, which I believe was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which was 5 or 6. Deception?
Yeah.
So that was 6, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And they had that whole thing where you traveled to different realms and learned these moves.
It was cool.
And I believe Shujinko, I think that's Japanese for like blank slate, because you're supposed to like...
Oh, really?
Put on powers. Like you're supposed to... He's the guy that you were supposed to be able to like.
All I know is that I remember, and I always remember that it's that game because it's called Deception. So there you go.
He was deceived.
Yeah, there you go.
But the one thing I will say is that they've tweaked the fatalities.
Yeah, I saw the one with I think it was Baraka, where he like slices you up obviously, but then he bites your brain too.
Yeah, but then like the thing about this one is like. Whenever they've done a fatality, the other person gets it done to them, and then zooms in on you, and you pose.
Okay.
But in this one, it's like if I'm punching you in the face so hard that your brain falls out, it's like it freezes on that moment and like does slow-mo. So it says fatality while your brains are being punched out. So they're really like just sticking on the gore.
I don't know what you're saying. Like so like a final blow.
The final blow is slowed down, and during that slowdown, which takes like 20 hours, it says fatality.
Oh, I think
and there's no pose at the end.
Oh, it might be like a brutality then, because if I remember correctly, the game before was like, if you beat them with a certain combo to kill them, it would say brutality.
Well, this one said all of these said fatality at the end.
Oh, okay.
Like there's one where somebody like punched you in the back of the head so hard that your brain.
It's not an X-ray either.
No, it's like they punched you in the brain. In the back of the head, your brain is flying out, and your face is like right in front of it.
Okay, so
then it's like fatality.
Think of that little like dramatic spark that happens in Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
like when
it just lasts for the entire thing.
Like when you get a good spike or like a good smash attack, and it goes like ching, like just think of that, but it's like Mario's brain pops out or something.
Exactly, and it lasts the whole time. There's no pose. There's no like victory or whatever. It just says fatality. That's
cool. It. I'm glad that they find. Interesting ways to like present the game.
There's still X-rays.
I think that's my main thing here is that like Mortal Kombat has a good way of presenting things. They always have like was it like Mortal Kombat 9? Me and my nephew played like the whole story mode because we were just like this is pretty cool. Like the fights
beat it really easily.
Yeah, like the fights were like whatever. Yeah, but it's like it was just kind of cool to see like. Them make up excuse. It's almost like Ed Boon has all these Mortal Kombat toys, and he's just like, and then this happened, and then he's like, no, but then Raiden goes back in time, and like it's like,
and then Raiden becomes a bad guy.
Yeah, and it's like for some reason I'm like, I'm into this. Yeah, maybe he did go back in time.
Dude, I'm in. I like it.
Because I honestly think like as a writer for Mortal Kombat, it must be a fucking challenge to bring all those characters back again. Like
not have them like. There's some core things about it, like Scorpion and Sub-Zero, obviously, but bringing in new characters and doing all that stuff's got to be a mind job. Especially if you have to keep resetting the timeline so that everybody's still alive. Yeah,
the only thing that sucks about like when a new fighting game comes out is that like a lot of people are like, "Oh, is my character gonna be in it?" Or like, and I think honestly that's why I kind of liked it when Street Fighter took a break for a long time because it's like now that Mortal Kombat's coming out with them, like I feel like it's been like 3 or 4 years between like each one. Cause it's been like 9, 10, and now 11, right? So like, I don't know. Like I just, I feel like people are just gonna be disappointed because it's like, so and so person was in the last game, they're not gonna be in this one, or like.
Yeah, and I really hate that whole esports like kind of mindset they have for these games because these games are all being built with that in mind, and not just being built to be good games.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Some of the things in Smash Brothers fucking bother me, dude. Like the big ass numbers on the screen when you take a stock.
Yeah.
It's like, do you really need it? Like, do you need that?
No,
like,
you could turn it off.
You can't.
You can't turn it off.
No,
you said you could.
You could turn off the mini map, which is like, why? Who is that there for? Like, no one fucking cares about that.
It's all for spectator. All of it's for spectator.
It's so weird and unnecessary. Like, if you're gonna, and that's the thing too is like Nintendo's in this weird spot where they're just like, they kind of want to try it.
Yeah.
But they don't really care, you know?
Because they've tried it before. They used to do tournaments. They used to do all these things. And before and it was right after the crash, so people weren't as into it as before.
But this is
they made a whole movie out of it.
Nah, this is way different though. This is Nintendo's like that guy that bought a guitar but only really knows power chords, you know? That's what.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm not looking at you.
Why are you looking at me?
You know what I'm talking about though?
Yes,
they're giving a minimum amount of effort on this on behalf of esports, you know?
Sure.
Look at Overwatch is not the best example, obviously, but it's they have spectator mode. They have they're constantly updating the game so that you can make it easier for commentators. They can actually spectate a certain player. Sure. You know, I don't know.
Also that I don't use it, but that stupid super bar that they've tried to implement, it's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it's I
don't like it.
I feel honestly they were just give them whatever they want. Because the last one, give them.
Really, I feel like that's exactly.
There's
the last one.
There's actually a mode, or there's actually an option to balance the game yourself. I don't know if you know that. Mm-hmm. Where you can go in and tweak every character. If you think King K. Rool's too strong, you can make him really weak or something.
Yeah, I've heard about that, but I don't want to fuck with it.
No, I know, and it's I wonder if it's at one point they're just thinking you guys go do that and we're done fucking supporting this game, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, because I guess the mindset is if we give all the tools to the community, they will form their own rules.
Yeah.
And I mean, I see how that makes sense because the mindset of this game is essentially let them tweak whatever they want.
Yeah.
You could tweak the stock, you could tweak the timer, you can even save presets. So it's always I want to play against Steven, so these are the rules for Steven. Or these are the rules when I play with other people, not just this is for casual play, blah, blah, blah. And they feel they just want that set up to go.
It's so... It's so, tragic, though, because it's things like that are oh, okay, that's cool. And then Nintendo will, make some weird decision because they're just this. They're they don't fully understand just... new age video games, right? And they give you this fucking online mode that's if you have too many people in your lobby, try kicking people out and it'll lag less. It's what kind of fucking online lobby lags when there's too many people in it? I understand Nintendo Online is only $3 a month, but it's still I don't get it. The rules, I really hate how they do the rule sets too. How it's you can't just click the top of the screen and go stock or time. You have to set one that's I personally don't like that. But I will say that it's a big improvement over Smash 4. So
I mean, it is, and seriously, I've still have not played online.
Okay.
The only time I've ever played online was when I was on the Wii U and playing Splatoon for the first time. Uh-huh. I would hook up with my friends to play on there, and then we'd just be on Skype to do that because they still didn't have
yeah, the voice stuff on Switch is non-existent.
It's
basically
terrible. Just
I have the app, and me and my friend were trying it out, and it's so fucking bad.
Garbage.
It disconnects after every single round.
Yeah.
I don't know if it purposely does that. I don't know. It's what you can't even taunt online apparently.
Nope.
I didn't know
they
that.
Don't allow it.
Or maybe not taunt, but if you taunt too many times in a row, it does something it might
you slip.
Yeah, I don't know. It's they have weird fucking rules, and I don't know what their mindset is. It's they're protecting children or something, or
they're
I don't know.
To protect against online bully.
Yeah, I guess so. It's you just stop. It's a fucking video game, dude. You. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should know when you go online, it's a wild, wild west when it comes to that.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, dude. You remember, I know this is so off topic, but you just reminded me of, the first time we played, an Xbox Live game, and it, this message came up that was, your experience may change once you enter the online lobby or something.
Your experience online is unrated, ESRB
or something like that? Yeah, and it's I think they still have this on certain games, but it was just it was so weird to see that for the first time. It was
well, they can't regulate everybody in the world.
That's my point. Is
it's funny you bring that up because I ran into somebody from G4 today, and it just started flooding back with all these memories of old G4 stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the segments we used to do on Attack of the Show was called "It Came from Xbox Live.
Okay.
And it was essentially just a bunch of like South Park heads saying all this like really terrible stuff. And then we would like bleep it out and everything, but it was funny to see
but like the voice clips were
the voice clips were from real players.
Oh, okay, that's
because
funny.
we used to have like servers that you could play G4 people in, but like we would just record them, and then we told them, hey, you're being recorded for if you want to play in this lobby, where you're going to be recorded, and then just people like were during the game were saying just the worst things.
I remember there was an Xbox or PS3 account that we had where we were just like, yeah, don't use the one that says G4 because you're just gonna get fucking like they're just gonna bother you. Like just don't use any of them that are tagged with G4. Like we only use those for the videos,
testing,
and stuff like that.
That's so funny.
So it's, yeah, but anyway, there was also like a little rumor teaser. It wasn't a rumor. It was a teaser trailer.
Teaser.
Yeah, for Ghostbusters 3.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't know.
I did see it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool, because the whole thing, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, and then we'll kind of go through it, but the whole thing is like, there's a stormy night.
Yeah, it's not much, honestly.
No, but there's some things about it. Like, for example, it's not in the city.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't start in the city. It's some barn somewhere.
Yeah.
Where the Ecto-1 is apparently
like
been
abandoned.
Well, not abandoned, but it's been stored.
Okay.
And then you go into this barn, and there it is. It's like, it's still in the rain, and then you hear somebody, like, turning on what sounds like a proton pack and everything. Okay. And then this music starts, it goes...
Yeah, I'm sure we've all heard it. But yes.
But that part, I was like, oh, cool. So it's going to be like somebody finds something.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, is this like blah, blah, blah? Maybe it's Destiny. They've heard of the Ghostbusters from before. You know, this could be the whole handoff. They find Ernie Hudson. He's like, yeah, I used to be a Ghostbuster back in the day, blah, blah, blah.
Well, Ernie Hudson,
I was thinking of all that.
Ernie Hudson said...
is he in?
The other 3 are in. Or the other 2 are in, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, so, I mean...
Well, we heard another rumor today.
Yeah.
Like, literally right before...
Right, exactly.
Steven was like... Steven was talking to his smart... the speaker... And it told him, yeah, that's
to the speaker.
I don't want to say her name because then she'll activate.
I was talking to a 2-way speaker and In-N-Out talking about rumors. So let me get a double. You seen this Ghostbuster? You seen this Ghostbuster thing? No. But apparently it's going to be children.
And you immediately went, oh, so it's Stranger Things. It's like, oh my gosh, they're trying to do Stranger Things.
They might be. I don't know. Like
because the Stranger Things kids were in Ghostbuster outfits. Get it?
You know, I feel like there's this weird kind of like trend going on with like
kids.
Let's put old people with children. And
what are you talking about?
Like Logan and Last of Us like to rope it around to our next topic, which is going to be Punisher. Punisher's kind of like a...
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
You know, it's kind of like this... or like God of War with him with the fucking kid. Like, it's like... and I get it. You know, like a lot of people... Like, I said this during the God of War playthrough, I think. Is like... nerdy people from way back then are dads now. So how do you appeal to nerdy dads? It's like you put a kid next to him, and it's like, hey, that's like my son. Hey,
they know what real love is.
You like Ghostbusters, right? And the kid's like, just because you forced me to watch the movies, and he's just like, you like Ghostbusters, right?
Oh my god!
Sorry.
Somebody. They always make fun of this guy on a radio show that I watch or that I listen to, and it's like. They always tease them. They're like, people don't know what real love is until they have kids. And I'm like, bleh.
Yeah. They just always do that when he says something.
Yeah,
like
no. They tease him with that, and then his response is, bleh.
Okay,
you know, like,
I see.
I just think that's so funny that you say that. Like, all of the nerds are dads now.
It's true. I mean, like, just think about how nerd culture is such a normalized thing now. It's not even really. It's not really anything.
You know when that moment crystallized for me?
The Big Bang Theory?
No.
Because they definitely helped us.
A couple years back, like when we first had the kid, walking around the mall, and then Sydney was like, oh, this year we get to give you a Father's Day card. Because your father. And I was like, that's cool. And we went by a store in the Bray Mall called Typo.
Okay. Yeah, I know that store.
And all the signs were in 8-bit.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, dad's perfect for the gamer dad in your life. And I was like, God damn it!
And
really?
Yeah, you were just like all of a sudden you were just like,
shit.
I'm a demographic. Oh wow!
I've always been a demographic.
Wow,
I've always been a demographic. I'm just that demographic now, and it was like, oh shit!
You said I'm basic.
All my friends are old.
Yeah. You turned to a mirror. You turned to the reflection in the glass, and you said, I'm basic.
Just the fact that you know that. You know that terminology is very frightening.
Yeah, thank what's her face, Kristen Bell for that one. No, but yeah. Basic. So it sounds interesting to say the least. I mean, I think so. It sounds a little more.
I feel like it can't be worse than what happened before.
Yeah, like it you know what's dumb too is like what's the name of the black lady from Ghostbusters?
I don't know.
You don't know her name?
I don't know her by name. I just know her as that. Like, I don't know. The only one I know out of that thing is Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy. I don't know the other one too. Even though I really like that blonde lady. I really do like her. She's awesome. I don't know her name, though.
Okay. Well, anyway, the black lady, what's her name in the movie? Do you know that at least?
No.
Okay. Anyway, her...
Uh-huh.
She's calling this new one like an abomination already, and she's like, you guys fucking squatted down and shat all over our movie of 2016 and all this shit. So get ready for that. So I mean, like, if there was any huge fans of Ghostbusters 2016, they might not like this new one. So whatever. I mean, to me,
I think it's good. I think now that if they do this right. And if they cast some nobodies and then have like a child star, like if they put Wolfhard as like the main one, Finn Wolfhard, I think they have a good shot because there just needs to be an outstanding, like the one person.
He was in It, right?
Yes, I believe so.
It?
I don't know, but Millie Brown was in Godzilla.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah,
she was in Godzilla.
Bobby Brown. Yeah, she's in Godzilla.
Okay.
If they format it right, I think it would be great.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've always... I will still say that I watched Ghostbusters... they're calling it Answer the Call now.
Yeah,
instead of Ghostbusters 2016. Yeah. I enjoyed parts of it. I think there's some very funny parts in it. It's just that the movie has a very big tone problem. And I think they're going to be very aware of that this time around.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be like, none of this all-star cast. We're going to focus on one, and we're just going to try to make another Stranger Things with some kids.
Do you think it's strange that Ghostbusters got to this point now?
What do you mean?
Like at this point now, it's almost sounding like Star Wars or any of these other movies where it's like they've made it several attempts, and this is the one where they're just like, we're gonna do it right, you know? Like, not to say that any of the Star Wars movies have been like complete like abominations or anything. Like, I mean, I didn't have nice things to say about Rogue One, but like Han Solo wasn't even that bad.
Well, the prequels are pretty bad.
And yeah, that's true. Okay. I mean, recently, I guess, like.
Well, I mean, because they can at least tell a coherent story. Like that is the problem with the prequels, and we're not going to go into that right now.
Right.
The newer ones have a good story, and it's just the way they're told is not as fine-tuned as they usually are. Because I feel like a lot of their new movies now are like a committee. Is writing the script.
Like, I guess, like, how Spider-Man was, like, doing the whole, like, hey, this is another origin story, or...
Oh, you mean The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2?
Yeah, or whatnot. Like, I just feel like it's weird that Ghostbusters has literally only had three movies, and I feel, like, almost a little bit exhausted at this point. Like, even hearing about, like... I guess because it was the game, too?
Oh, and man.
You know, like...
I feel like the game was the actual third movie.
Yeah, like, that wasn't that... Didn't that kind of, like, appeal to everyone already? Like,
it's just not everybody can appreciate a video game yet. You know what I mean? Like,
it's not.
If you think about it, it's... Let's just put it this way. It's like, people know how to get through a book. They just read it.
Yeah.
Right? People can watch a movie. They just watch it. A video game, actually, like, if you want to know the story, you got to beat it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing about... A video game is essentially, like... If you read a chapter of a book and at the end there was a quiz about what you just read, if you got it wrong, they're like, you gotta go back and read it now.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't. A lot of people don't want that. They don't get the same satisfaction we do out of it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Which is ironic because I hate reading. I feel like reading is a challenge. I literally can't just sit there and look at words because my eyes will hurt or they'll start to burn.
I think you need glasses.
I know. I've been doing audiobooks on the Echo, so
that's great.
Yeah, it's a lot better for me. But yeah, like, Ghostbusters is like...
Sorry, really quick. Uh-huh. You reading the Harry Potter books, right?
Yeah, it was.
That guy doing all the voices. He does Hermione's voice. He's just like, Harry.
Yeah.
Just as like a little higher.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But all I was gonna say was like, albeit filled with fan service and all that.
Right.
The Ghostbusters game was good, and I remember
it's great.
I remember thinking like, so all these dudes are like old as fuck, but you wouldn't know it because they're just doing voices. Like,
right.
Like why wouldn't you just make like another Ghostbusters game?
And that's great because look, like for a while,
like they're immortal basically in video games, like.
Well, for a while, people got their Ghostbusters fixed because there was a cartoon. Like a lot of people forget that the cartoon was really successful and it had a lot of episodes.
You know what?
Well, let me just for people that don't know, because I only watched a couple of episodes, but I got a lot of my information from AVGN because he did a review of the whole series.
The real Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So essentially, they're called the real Ghostbusters because they're like, oh, the ones you saw in the movie, those were like a movie based on them or something, and these guys are the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, because Venkman doesn't even look like. What's his face?
No, it doesn't.
Like they don't really look like. Well, I guess they kind of do.
They do kind of look like, but obviously exaggerated versions of them.
Yeah.
And one of them's blonde, and all that. It's like they do that to kind of allow themselves some artistic. Whatever.
And I actually like their designs. They're
cool. They're great.
Yeah.
Especially since like they don't all have the same colored suit a lot of the times. But what I really like is that they became cartoons, which means they can live on forever. They don't have to rely on like. I know Harold Ramis is gone, but like he'll always exist now in the video game.
Yeah, because
like you could just like
have
him in the video game.
I actually came to this realization when I was playing the Back to the Future Telltale games. Mm-hmm. They have somebody that does a pretty good Marty McFly impression.
Right.
And I believe for like the last episode, Michael J. Fox does come back to do a voice of like an alternate Marty or something.
Oh.
And I think it is I'm not sure, but I remember it being Christopher Lloyd doing Doc's voice for the whole series of games.
Right.
And I'm like, this guy's immortal like this. Like, like you could do so many games based on like in this format.
Yeah.
To tell like cool stories inside the Back to the Future universe, and they're fucking flawless because like, or I mean, I should say like, as far as the voices go, it's like it sounds exactly how you want them to sound,
Exactly.
And like. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like, why wouldn't you do that with more shit? I guess I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know.
I just feel like, especially for video games, I feel like that's a great medium to have these franchises live.
Yeah, and like Telltale games aren't even hard. Like the Back to the Future one was one of the first ones that came out, I believe. And I was like, we were going through it pretty fast. And I was just like, it's enjoyable. Like I don't think it's much of a challenge. I don't know.
That's a whole different thing because those were very point and click because they started off with the Sam and Max series, if you remember, and we really liked that series, so it was really easy to pick up and go with them.
Yeah, maybe we're too experienced, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, no. We should change the subject because we could talk about this all day.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But both Steven and I started watching a little show you might know on Netflix.
The Punisher.
Yes, with Pete Coglione. What is his name? Pete Coglione.
Pete Castiglione or something.
Yeah. So basically, Punisher's back.
Punisher's back.
He's back. He didn't want to be back.
That name that you just said, by the way, apparently he does go by that in the comic books.
I'm sure he does.
That's like a second alias that he uses.
Yeah. He has a couple different ones, if I remember.
Pete Castiglione, I think, or something like that.
Anyway, something like that. Steven has finished the series.
I just finished it right before we started.
I'm finished episode 3 and I was starting episode 4 before I came over, and it's pretty like from like Ep 1, action packed.
Yeah.
And then Ep 2 slowed down, and then Ep 3 I was like, oh, we're back. Okay, cool.
Yeah, episode 1 was pretty good. I remember there's a fight in a bar that breaks out.
Yep.
And it's very action packed, and it's a lot.
He punches like a ton of women.
It's a lot more. That's something interesting to bring up. Actually, I'm not sure if it's like this with all Marvel shows, but I think I just noticed it with this one. A lot of female writers wrote a lot of these episodes, and I feel like this character that's kind of like his sidekick throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is a little like self-righteous in that like it feels like she's written by a woman. Like there's a lot of times where she will call out Frank on like like you're such a dude. Like you're heading right into a trap and you're being a fucking moron because you're just so like stubborn.
A dude.
Yeah, you're being like a
But if you think about it, isn't that her being like I know what you're talking about because she does it early on. But isn't that her relying on? I know what you're saying about how they're writing her. But in a weird way, that's the opposite of how like she's twisting the female view of a male into why he's doing this, so she can like
for leverage
against him.
Yeah, she's definitely
Frank is none of those things because Frank is just programmed at this point.
There's a point where Frank's playing like a little game with her, and he can't win because she's just like good at being like all sneaky or whatever.
Yeah,
and she's just like that's why women don't play this game. You only see men playing this game. Because even though men know that it's rigged, they need to know that they can win at something or something like. And it's just like, okay, wow, like you're taking that shot at us. That's cool. I don't care. But it was just kind of interesting to see, like, okay, I guess. I mean,
but if you think about it, like the part of the why that makes a lot of sense to me. First of all, for every episode, I would suggest you watch the entirety of the intro. Because it always flashes at the very end. It flashes the writer of the show.
Well, if you skip
of that particular episode,
if you skip the intro, it actually stops right there. That's why I think I noticed it more.
Yeah, like flashes right at the very end, and I was like, wow, they have different writers for every episode. But like from the beginning, there's a good mix of like female mercenaries and male mercenaries, strong. Just like not necessarily gender biased. They're just people.
You mean like actually fighting Punisher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like. Even towards the end, it's like he's fighting people that are like you said, like he's punching women, and I was just kind of like, that's a woman. I didn't.
I didn't think Frank punched people.
Yeah, like I didn't think this certain guy like recruited women, or like you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I know, but it's just like, and I think that's what highlights something for Frank because Frank is. It's not about like in the very beginning he's very dude-like where he's there's a scene where. In the very beginning, he's trying to enjoy a concert in a bar. Yeah. Some guy keeps fucking with the bartender, and he's like, "Hey, dude, how's she gonna serve if you're holding her arm?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you like her?" And he's like, "I just don't like assholes." And then like he gets in a bit of a fight with him, and then while she's trying to come on to him, he's just like, "I gotta leave this alone. I gotta leave this alone." And then finally, he kind of is just like, "I'm lonely," and they go together. But it feels like less of a. I mean, they obviously have sex and everything, but like it's more about both of them being in the same place, and almost like it doesn't matter that they were one of them is a man, one is a woman. It's kind of like we're all like she's lonely, he's lonely for different reasons.
I think I think that's something that you notice right away is that like Frank is obviously different in this season,
right?
Because season 1, it's like he didn't even want to have lunch with that fucking guy that he worked construction with,
right?
But then like season 1, there's like when women come on to him or something, he like gets mad and he gets upset and he's like I'm still fucking married, like my wife's dead, but like she's the only one for me and all this stuff. And like right off the bat, episode 1 of season 2, he's just like in bed with another woman. So it's like he's almost like not like completely over it, obviously, but he's just like he's moved on and he understands that like you know.
Well, I think it had a lot to do with the fact like he had been in. He didn't like. He obviously has like the whole thing in season 1 with him kind of playing dad in that other guy's family.
Yeah,
it definitely helped him. The fact that he was able to bring them together.
Yeah.
The fact that Karen Page was involved a lot in that season.
Yeah.
I think it changed him into a whole not as a whole as in like he's not Frank Castle because he's obviously Frank Castle.
Right.
But. It's more like he needs to enjoy some things.
Yeah, because he's Billy Russo, the bad guy in the first season.
Right, who was his friend.
Yeah. He was always telling him, like, you know, like, guys like us, like, we don't get normal lives like this and all this shit. And you can tell that's the kind of mentality that Frank Castle has, is that, like, he can't really be happy and he can't really have a normal life because there's always this need to kill, or he's always like this soldier and whatnot.
Right.
And the first season actually had like I felt like it had like a really cool like overtone of like vets and stuff dealing with like PTSD and like coming home with problems and stuff like that. like showing off Curtis's like little group and everything.
Right. Not to mention the kid who like couldn't adjust to regular life.
And I feel like this season, like, it has a little bit of it, but not as much.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually surprised when I heard reviewers saying like, "Oh, season 2 is like way better than the first season." I was like,
It has a different tone.
They're both good, but I kind of enjoyed season 1 more, and it might be because I'm in love with Micro, that beautiful man. But I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe that's it.
You think that's it?
Frank Castle seems less about because he's supposed to be underground.
Yeah.
Right? He's supposed to be dead to the world. Frank Castle doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And he's obviously trying to hide because he's way out in the fucking country. He's nowhere near the city.
I mean,
so he's trying to. He gotta get, like they even said, he's like, you gotta get out of jail free card once. Mm-hmm. It's a one-time deal. So he was obviously trying to lay low, but even the female character is like almost like his conscience. Just like every like little kid with an adult thing, the little kids are their conscience. So she's like, I saw you at the bar. You didn't hesitate.
Yeah.
You took that. You took them attacking me as like you were glad to see that, and you were gonna attack them anyway.
Yeah, and it's true because it's almost like Beth was him trying to settle down,
right? But
then he sees this other girl getting attacked,
right? And
he sees some asses that he can kick, just ripe for the kicking.
By the way, bring me back to that. How they like. There's a whole even in these first 3 episodes, there's a whole spectrum of women. If you want to like diversify them. There was some shitty fucking mercenaries there. There was, Beth trying to help out, Punisher when he was in the bar fight. You got Beth, who's kind of like this neutral character who doesn't know what's going on, but she's caught in the middle.
Uh-huh.
And then you even got people who are supposed to be the good guys, which is like one of the sheriffs at the station was like when Frank was in there's this shootout essentially in a police station.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, let's just give him this guy. We don't know who he is. Like, we're trying to save our town. Our people are starting to die here.
Yeah.
And, like, that's a shitty person.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They swore to protect people.
Right.
And, like, this is how she was acting. And then one of them calls him out. He's like, you guys took the same oath as I did. You're just going to let these people die.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, it's like a whole spectrum of people.
That's cool. Like, they diversified the cast and not in an overly obnoxious way.
No,
like it's like super subtle. Like
it's actually more of a truthful way. It's like
yeah,
not everybody's good. And all of us have like parts of our gender or our race or whatever that are shitty. That's just how it is.
Yeah, and I know it's kind of a weird thing to bring up, but I was like, I just brought it up because I kind of noticed it. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say that defeats the purpose if I actually noticed it, but it was a little more seamless than other shows tend to do,
Yeah.
So,
because like him, and good on them for making it seem like they didn't bring it up as a big deal that he started to fight women.
Yeah.
It felt like they took out their blades and they were going to come after him. And he didn't. It wasn't a hesitation. It was just like, like before you go play basketball, you stretch a little. That's essentially what he was doing. He took off his belt and he's just like wrapping it around his head. He's like, well, I'm going to get into a fight now. And it was like, there was no hesitation. It felt seamless.
You're literally talking about the scene where he goes into the women's bathroom and he beats the shit out of 3 women.
2 women.
Or 2 women.
And 1 guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, like the girl is being kidnapped and they took her in the bathroom to, I guess, like beat the shit out of her or something. He goes in there and the 2 girls pull out blades and then the last guy pulls out a blade and he's like, because right when the guy takes out a gun, the lady's like, no guns. You don't want to make noise.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's...
I will say that's really cool about this season 2. You're going to see a lot of cool fights.
Oh, yeah.
Where Frank is not really... he's not really worried about whether or not he has guns.
No.
And he just walks into places and he just kind of messes people up. And it's just like... It's just so great. Like, that's exactly why I watched The Punisher. That's why, like... This show has such a grand appeal, I think.
We hope that people watch, obviously, Punisher Season 2, but I think the whole migration is happening where, like, by next year, everything's going to be on Disney+.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's what they called it, right? Disney+?
Yeah, I hope so. And I was...
I mean, of course they are, dude. These things they're, like, making so much money, and they're just migrating everything over. Like, people are saying it's being canceled. I was like, I don't know about being canceled. Probably just moved over. I have a feeling they're not just going to dump these things because they're making so much money.
Yeah.
And we still got Jessica Jones for the end of the year.
So without spoiling too much, I just want to say that the things I really liked about the show were some of the new characters they brought into the show. But I will say that it takes a while for you to learn why they're even there and stuff like that.
There's hints already.
So I feel like that was one of the criticisms people had, was just like that some of the new characters didn't work out so much because they were like, you were introduced to their backstories and stuff a little too late.
I don't know if that's a bad thing.
No, because there's a good amount of characters, like Daredevil mainly focused on Bullseye, and that's about it, know.
That was one of the greatest things about season 3 of Daredevil. Not to take it too far back, because I know we're running out of time here, but season 1 you're introduced to Karen Page. Season 2 you find out a little bit about her past, but season effing 3, you find out why she came out to the city.
Yeah, no, yeah,
that's
true.
A slow burn if I've ever seen one.
Right.
And with these bad guys, I've already seen kind of hints of what they are, and like Billy from the last one.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens there, because the mask. I don't know who drew that mask or whatever. I want to know what happened there. I want to know if he really can't remember who he is, or if he's just faking it. Like, all this is in the first episode, so when you've seen that, this is all in the. I'm not spoiling anything, but the new boss or preacher guy or whatever, I can't wait to see what that is, because his character is interesting in the same way that the Joker is interesting to a lot of people, where it's like he has a past that's kind of questionable, but he follows some weird logic.
Yeah, I mean, villains always feel like they've convinced themselves that what they're doing is right.
Yeah, they have a weird justification.
They're like these weird like psychopath kind of characters that do that. But yeah, the girl, his little sidekick, their relationship is like really sweet, and like just by the end it's very nice, and it's cool to see, like it's cool just to see emotions coming out of Frank Castle anytime he has emotions, because like even with Micro in season 1, like towards the end he's like fucking around with them, and he just like there's a part where Micro pulls his dick out for no reason. Do you remember?
That was weird.
Yeah, but what I mean is like they when Frank Castle actually has like friends, it's really nice, because it's like I've become familiar enough with Frank Castle that I'm rooting for him. Like, I want him to be happy, and I want him to have friends and stuff, because
if you think about it, right, this is one of the last missing pieces for him, because he had a wife and kid.
Yeah,
right? He had a boy, and then now he had a female friend in Karen Page. He had a male friend that like he could actually trust, you know. And now the last thing he needed is kind of like a female kid, which is what they've kind of introduced here, because he's never had a daughter.
He has a daughter.
He has a daughter?
He had a daughter, I should say, yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe that's more of what they were trying to develop here, because she's a teenager.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Right now, we don't even know her age, but I assume she's at least 18. So, I assume she's at least 18, because, like, when the cops are reading her, like, whatever, they're like, I don't know what age you are. Here it says you're 13. Here it says you're 16. Here it says you're 22. So I'm going to just average them and say you're 18. Yeah. So she probably got, like, a young face, but, like, obviously she knows her stuff.
Right, and there's it's I feel like it's weird for them to still be mentioning, like, Frank's family being killed. Yeah. But there's just a scene where, like, it kind of hits him hard, and it's such a sad scene. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's very good on what's his name? I think his name is John Bernthal or Bernthal. Yeah, Bernthal, I think his name is. Good job acting, friend, because you do a very good job as a Punisher, and it's crazy to feel like that somebody like the Punisher is like charismatic to some degree, even though he's like a maniacal killer. Like it's just it's insane to me, and it's why he's an interesting character. It's like no powers either. Like, what the fuck? Like,
but it's obviously like I equate him to a very dark Spider-Man, because like his powers come to him because of what he's been through. Like, if he hadn't been through something that was terrible like that, he wouldn't be who he is now.
Right. But yeah, so I would recommend you guys go watch The Punisher season 2. It's really good.
I would highly recommend it. I'm only 3 in, but already it's like they've already laid the groundwork for a great season.
Yeah. If you didn't watch season 1, actually, you're gonna watch that one first.
Yes, you'd be very lost. Even with the recap, I think you'll be lost with a lot of the significance of what's happening.
Oh yeah, there's a recap.
Especially, I mean, I skipped the recap because it's all really fresh in my mind. But you know, you lose the significance of Billy, right? You know, in the very beginning. So you know, and the detective that's like standing over him in the very first scene. You lose all that. So definitely go back and watch it before they pull it off Netflix too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they will
do that.
Go check out Resident Evil 2. There's a demo out. So
check it out. See if it's your cup of tea.
Yeah, why don't you go check that out if you want. And what else did we talk about, Ernie? We talked about
MK11.
Yeah.
I'm still like on it.
Go check out those trailers
go watch
and stuff.
Spider-Verse again.
Yeah, go watch.
Don't watch it because it might be Oscar nominated by the time you actually watch it.
You know what? I hope by the time this podcast is up, there's another Ghostbusters 3 rumor.
Oh my god.
Something else, more news. Yeah.
I want it to be like one old dude and 3 children. Okay. Because that'll follow the same trend that you've been saying.
And then the original Ghostbusters.
Ghosts. And they have to capture the original Ghostbusters.
When I say original Ghostbusters, I mean Melissa McCarthy and I mean Kristen Wiig, by the way. Those original.
Because those are the only 2 you can remember.
Yeah. Iconic actors. But yeah, you can find us on SoundCloud, Radio Toons Podcast.
Right.
You can find us on iTunes, Radio Toons Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Soho Shuffle. And Ernie, what about you?
I'm at Neo Ernie. You can find me on Twitter. And just on Twitter. You can just
the only place. That's the only place you're going to find
it. But if you have any questions or suggestions for the show or anything like that, hit us up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That is it for this week, guys. See you next week.
See you next week, guys.